Probably's a big fan of those.
Hey, I mean, Zex is the guy who's getting slowly buffed every patch. Suddenly he's going to be OP.
I love it.
Let's look at the pick and bans here. Lulu ban is one I was going to mention before H2K plugged it in. Vitality and H2K are, in my opinion, the two best teams at playing Lulu in the LCS.
Not falling into the trap. They
so
know it.
I like the ban. You're currently also removing the Kog'Maw part. That could happen.
Yeah, teams haven't been needing that portion of it as much, but that's true. It still removes a critical component if teams wanted to start doing that. We'll see if Kog'Maw does get taken away here as the last ban. Quinn is banned away by Vitality.
And let's try and talk about some of the things Vitality did really well last week. They are a team who reminds me quite a bit of Immortals in the way they like to play the lanes. They put so much effort into having strong side lanes coming in, either strong AD carry or Cabochard being fed. And then you push in every lane at the same time so that if the enemy team is making a play, you can always cross-map them. Worst case, if they get one kill, you get a top tower instead. That's where a pick like Graves fits in for Vitality because Cabochard is able to take it into the top lane and just perma-push that lane. Vitality will always aim to push it all the way to the enemy tower. So if you move away, you lose the tower. If you gank them, you lose the tower somewhere else. And if you're not there to farm it, you lose the CS. So they always want to apply pressure through mini waves and lane push. That's why Cabochard is such a good player and why Graves fits him.
Yeah, and he has really been displaying it in those numbers. I mean, you look at his Graves games, 3 across the board. He's died twice in those. That makes his KDA absolutely insane. Something like 16. He is absolutely ridiculous on this champion. And he'll have to go off, though. H2K, they've locked the Kog and they've locked the Thresh for Forgiven and Vander.
So very good rotation for H2K. I actually think the Graves first pick, now we talked about how the champion is good for Cabochard. I don't like it as a first pick here. Because there are so many other junglers who are better than Graves at the moment, and we haven't seen Odoamne use Graves top really a lot. If we even seen him play it once in the LCS. So I don't feel like that's his kind of pick. Vitality kind of first picking something without taking anything away from H2K, now giving them a great AD carry pick with Kalista being banned. Take Thresh, which the reason it's locked in for Vander is to take it away from KaSing. It's his comfort pick, and they steal that one away. And Diana is
an option.
Not
but I don't think that's where they're going. The Corki was
almost
available. It gets picked up. Obviously, we expect Hjarnan to go on this, although he has been playing, even when locked out of a lot of AD carries, he's one of the few that was going back to misfortune, not to much success. I expect this to fall into his hands as Shook also gets the Nidalee.
We talked about how Odoamne is not a guy who's playing Graves. Against Graves up top lane, you want a tank. You want something that can stack armor so Graves can't kill you and preferably set up a gank. Also against Corki and Nidalee, something like Nautilus Malphite would be super good for H2K because it offers hard engage versus what is being built as a siege composition. So like, H2K has to lock in something with hard engage top that can be a big tank, preferably a Malphite for the instant engage against Corki, Nidalee, Graves. Like, Vitality's showing their comp already.
You know what is up that Odoamne could definitely make use of? If he does lock the Malphite, that would be an option, but the Tahm Kench is also available. It's not something we've seen since it's been banned a little bit. It's been not
but you want the hard engage. You want the hard engage.
That's true.
This.
The Malphite definitely fits that bill. I think he'll go back to it here, and it looks like he locks it in along with the Elise for Jankos.
Yeah, I think H2K can be very happy with this. We just talked about all the reasons. You're against Graves in lane, so you want to be able to stack armor. You're against a siege composition with the first 3 picks, a lot of squishy targets. Malphite hard engage fits in perfectly here. And it's also showing the difference between Odoamne and Cabochard as players. Cabochard is the carry, very selfish in the way he likes to play. He wants to be the big guy winning the fights.
Oh boy, we've seen this before.
That's true.
If they lock that one in, Vitality, what a crazy game. The Bard Zilean, we got it again. Nukeduck's going for bombs, and KaSing will be going for Tempered Fates.
This combo, just Bard Zilean, is such a good combo. Because what you're going to do in the mid game is you're going to have Frost Queen's Claim on Bard. You pop that one, you slow down a target, then you fire the Bard ulti. If it connects, you follow up with double bomb from Zilean into not only the burst damage, but also follow up CC. It requires you to use your flash once you see the Bard ulti flying. And that's very good for Vitality to trade Bard ulti for summoner spells. Because there's a very low mobility AD carry who wants to stand still and hit people. That's not going to happen against Bard Zilean, because then they're going to just lock you down and kill you.
Yeah, we definitely saw a lot of trouble for Vitality's previous opponents there. Origin weren't able to really get a whole lot done, but
give me LIssandra here.
I think LIssandra makes a lot of sense. Same situation as Fnatic last time. However, I also think it's worth noting the Forgiven factor. This is a guy that, even though he's been playing more for the team, was known for a while for just not dying, just being able to get out of situations he should escape. Even though Kog'Maw's a very low mobility AD carry, we'll see if he can make magic with it.
Yeah, and you can see what H2K is doing is somewhat what Fnatic did in the last game, is instead of drafting a ton of disengage for the AD carry, they have Forgiven built somewhat bruiser-ish with more than Mortis, Sterix Gauge, and so on, so you can actually take some damage. And then you have champions that can dive the enemy backline instead. So you lock down their carries instead of trying to disengage the carries. So Malphite, LIssandra, they smack into all the squishes in the backline of Vitality. There's no tank here. Cabochard is the most tanky member.
Relying on the Zilean ultimate.
They are relying on Zilean ulti, but they're also relying on killing Forgiven. So Zilean ulti in this case actually won't have that much value, because Forgiven will just stand and kill everyone around you. He's hitting 3 targets.
Yeah.
You cannot Zilean ult 3 targets. That would be pretty overpowered.
Well, see as these two coaches shake hands, walk up the stage. Sean's probably very highly regarded coaches by their teams respectively, but we want to know what you guys have to say about this matchup, these two titans of the European LCS. Tweet at LL eSports, hashtag VIT win, hashtag H2K win, if you think who is going to take this one home today with Ryu back in the mid lane versus Nukeduck Zilean. I am so excited to see how these two go head to head. This is going to be one that people will be talking about for weeks.
Yeah, I love this pick and ban phase. How both teams have prepared coming into this one. Vitality very clearly said we want to first pick Graves. I don't think that was needed, but they did it, and they had answers in their mind to this pick from Forgiven with the Zilean Bard combo, but there is very little backline threat outside of that AoE burst from Zilean and Cabochard that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And H2K has a lot of ways of forcing fights on 5 squishy members.
Well, they are hoping, Vitality are, at least this will shake out just the way the Origin game did. This is the exact same comp, by the way, the exact same composition. And H2K is a very different opponent, though, especially with Ryu back. They're going to go for a 5-man invade here, try and get some vision to see what's going on. 4-man invade, rather. Nukeduck's holding the line.
And again, this comp is built around the Vitality playstyle. Cabochard on a pushing laner. You have Hjarnan and KaSing on a strong 2v2 that can handle themselves if needed. And Nukeduck on a farm and control mage. And then the entire game is built around just pushing all 3 lanes down towards the enemy towers and then start roaming between the lanes. Bard is such a good roamer, picking up triumphs, getting movement speed, setting up these picks with his own ulti. So it fits Vitality and KaSing extremely well. Late game though, I struggle to see how Vitality are going to win the fights. Because of H2K having a strong tank who can engage. They have zone control from Ryu. And then you have this AD carry that scales up to an absolute monster. And Vitality are relying on popping him instantly. Flashes, QSS, Mortal Mortis, these things will stop Vitality from killing him because they have no hard engage in that sense. It's Bard ulti and Resilient bombs.
Yeah, and they're just going to hope they get the jump on him. I mean, everybody but the Kog'Maw is packing CC on this team. H2K know that they can take the fights together. They can definitely come out ahead. It'll be curious to see how this one goes. As we have ourselves some Australia lanes here. Forgiven and Vander will run smack dab into Hjarnan and KaSing. Cabochard TP's down to the bottom side, so there's slight momentary advantage, but shouldn't make too much difference. Also worth noting that double TP on the side of H2K. Nukeduck had opted for the cleanse.
Want to play it safe. Zilean, he's not the strongest laner right now. He just want to kind of farm it out, get to level 6 and start then having an impact. The 1v1 lane in the bottom side is the one I really want to look at. Again, I think Cabochard and Odoamne are the 2 best top laners we have in Europe. I think both of them are fighting to kind of take the crown in this one. And again, I'm just looking at Cabochard as like the selfish guy, and Odoamne as a selfless guy. The guy who wants to play for his team. The guy who's more known for making good teleport plays and having good team fights, compared to Cabochard, who's more known for that 1v1 ability and getting jungle pressure for him to carry. And it's obviously not a negative thing to call him selfish, because he is a big carry and Vitality wants him to be a big carry.
So really interesting parallel and opposite ends for both these. They're 2 of the strongest top laners that Europe has to offer. And very, very different styles of play here. We'll see which one comes out on top. We have to keep eyes on the top lane for now. Vander throws the hook. He does connect on Hjarnan. Not too much damage just yet. Vander takes a little bit in return. That Cosmic Binding struck him in the back.
It is a big issue though for Odoamne in the bottom lane that he got the 1v1. Obviously Cabochard instant teleported down. And Graves will always have to push early versus the Malphite. So there's a lane where you just allow the wave to push down to your tower and you farm whatever you can. You don't try and trade with the Graves or anything or push it out. You let him push it into your tower and you farm. You put a defensive ward then, once you think the jungler can appear behind your tower for Odoamne, and then you spot the dive. And that's basically the way he's going to play the lane until level 6. And it's more about making plays up in top lane for H2K. Play around top side. Do not play around Odoamne here. And they're not doing it, so it's smart. Ryu take a lot of damage.
So that double bomb, his debut back here in Europe. Now we do see Jankos going on jungle mission in the top side, but he's not close enough to really affect the dive early on. They're not low enough for it to really matter right now. But Forgiven, this is important. Forgiven is pushing in with the Kog'Maw very early on, doing Forgiven things versus this Corki of Hjarnan's.
Well, H2K had a camp level 1. Vitality didn't. So they fell behind in experience already from level 1, and they had to let the wave push. A bit like with Odoamne in the bottom side, he had to respect Graves and let it push to him and get whatever farm he can. Same for top lane. Hjarnan and KaSing didn't do a camp because they were expecting a lane swap. And therefore they are now stuck in a losing lane, and you can see H2K quickly identify where's our strong lane, where can we make something happen. That's where Jankos is roaming. In the enemy jungle, setting up a potential gank if needed, or a counter gank. Vander's lining quite a few of those onto Hjarnan.
Yeah. Now these two duo laners definitely been looking fairly strong. I mean, Forgiven had some really good words to say about his support this year, and that's something that we're not used to hearing from him. So Vander definitely doing a solid bit of work on this H2K squad.
And it's fun to see how this game has started almost the same way the last game when these two guys played each other, where H2K gets a level advantage early on in lane in the 2v2, and they bully that lane as much as possible. And Odoamne is then under pressure in the bottom lane because not only is Shook trying to camp for Cabochard, but Cabochard also had a better matchup. Olaf into the gangplank at that point. So Cabochard was just playing super aggro on Olaf, and it was exactly the same deal. But that was one where H2K were able to wait and just stall it onto late game and then win a team fight.
Yeah, it's a bit different for Vitality this time around. They have a little bit more damage in their pockets, and they've got this really crazy combo, the Zilean Bard. I mean, last time it was Hjarnan on Misfortune.
Vitality is still looking to make plays early on. Like,
that's true.
It's the same thing. H2K are basically looking to scale up to late game and play as a team. Vitality is looking to roam around the map, push multiple lanes, and then create picks with Zilean and Bard. Like, that's what they do so well. And that's what we're going to see Vitality do once to get out the laning phase.
It's really no surprise, though, that they're taking their time about it, especially H2K trying to control this pace a little bit more, at least in the top side of the map. They're always a team that's known for the patience. Vitality, even though they do make early moves, for a while this split, they have been very slow and steady and then striking when they are strong. But clearly they're strong early on now, and they need to adjust to that.
It's two very good macro teams, but different kind of macro. One is proactive, pressure play, another one is the rotations.
Oh, flashed away. Cabochard burns his summoner for that ultimate out of Odo.
Very smart move by H2K. Getting the flash for Cabochard stops him from playing too aggressive because he has to respect the jungle gank now. And once Malphite multis back, you can then re-gank this lane and secure a very easy kill onto Cabochard. So it sets up H2K to basically have Cabochard play more passive. And that was a losing lane for H2K that's now been set behind a little bit by losing that flash. So I like that play from H2K. They knew we're not going to get the kill because he's going to flash it. But just forcing that summoner is good enough. And now back towards top side. Jankos, he wants to be here. He wants to support Forgiven and Vander so they can play aggressive in the 2v2.
Oh, dodge that spear, take the lantern. Forgiven gets out of town. Easy as Shook. We'll go back. It still would have been a rough ask because Jankos was in the area. Has to respect the spider. So far, a very even game. Little moves made, just slight edges trying to get each other. It is really a chess match in that early phase of this game. No crazy overt moves for either team.
And that's the thing about the current meta. If two teams are playing correct, you might not always find openings because you're always playing around your strong lanes. Vitality are defending their strong lane. Hjarnan!
Oh, they've caught him. The summoner heal was already burned, and now the Thresh lantern is up. Jankos is moving out as he backs up, seeing Shook there. Forgiven a little low. Cabochard coming in around the side. Forgiven's going to get first blooded. It's Cabochard that blows him away with an end of the line. Some return damage onto Shook, but not enough to make a difference. Vitality make that early play up top side.
Yeah, so as soon as the fight starts, Cabochard is teleporting in. He doesn't want to stay down bot lane here if he can be part of a kill up top here. Obviously great for Graves to get in near the walls with the damage. But that was a spear from Shook. I think it was aimed at Jankos, but then went past him and hit Forgiven. And then they pulled the trigger. Flash in, get the damage, set up Cabochard to get the kill. Easy tower as well. Very well played from Vitality.
Opportunistic. And Forgiven was not able to stay alive. Meanwhile, back in mid lane, we missed it, but Ryu goes down to Nukeduck. The bombs are flying. We'll have to take a look at that one, hopefully, in a minute. But Nukeduck picks up that solo kill while it's all happening.
Clearly must have stunned Ryu when he was fairly low. He didn't even ulti himself. Catch him out. Didn't have to use a whole lot of his flash for Nukeduck. No ulti used from him. Easy 1v1 very clearly. Vitality now off to a great start because they had that TP play top. Cabochard were winning bot lane on his own, obviously, with the Graves, and now a solo kill in mid lane. I still feel like this is a lot like the last game because Selfie died in the mid lane to Nukeduck as well.
It's definitely starting to look a bit more like that, and also like the last game today, there's a bit of a goal difference. Not quite so much as the Fnatic game, but Vitality managed to pick up 2,500 ahead of their opponents off the back of those 2 kills.
And this is just perfect for Vitality's composition.
It's what they need to do.
Is getting to level 6, so he's super strong by now. He has a Sheen completed. You can stop being a bully in that lane and apply pressure on towers. So you open up the map by getting down these early side towers. You can see Cabochard, he's not sitting with Odoamne. He's like, I have no flash, he has ulti, he's gonna kill me. Together with his jungler if I go top. So he's following his team around and he's fast pushing towers. They also know the timing of Odo's teleport, that's another big one. The reason they can make these plays is because Odoamne cannot follow. He TP bot to ulti and force the flash of Cabochard. That's been punished by Vitality twice now.
Yeah, neither could Ryu either, considering. I mean, not only before he died, but he was too low. His teleport was also not off cooldown. So despite the double TP, Vitality were the ones who were able to make the out rotation early on. Now, Forgiven will try to defend this bottom side, but there is just a horde of Vitality members here, and this one's going down. They're going to trade up in the top side, but it's easy pickings. 10 minutes on the clock. That's going to be 2 towers to Vitality, soon to be 1 to H2K, but the gold lead stands.
I mean, this all comes down to Vitality having the timer of the teleport from Odoamne. Let's see their play mid.
Oh, man.
Ryu steps next to that minion, double bomb on it to stun it, and then kill him with an auto attack. That was so well played by Nukeduck. And
that was
one
not
of the reasons. Sure, I mean the damage, the base damage from Zilean is great. But the fact that Nukeduck and Shook really stepped up last week was a big part of Vitality doing so well, and Nukeduck, he's continuing the trend. Let's see Cabochard top now. He still has no flash.
Yeah, he's dashing. It's already spent. There's the knockup. Jankos goes in with the flash, and down will go Cabochard, but a lot of tanking there. And no, he trades even. Oh, Jankos stayed too long.
Nukeduck might get more. Now bot lane as well.
Yeah, Forgiven takes the spear as he takes the lantern, and Cosmic Binding on Ryu as he claws forward. Can't quite connect on it. Doesn't want to connect on it. It's a 1-for-1 at the end of the day. H2K invested a lot, though, on the top side at least.
We saw the play that we talked about multiple times, how Cabochard knows if he goes to the lane, he's gonna get ganked by Malphite and Elise. It happened. It was executed very poorly by H2K. Cabochard, tankier probably than they expected on this Graves, had a bit more damage, gets a 1-for-1. And at the same time, Nukeduck was roaming. So Odoamne had to use his teleport to escape. Again, the way H2K wants to play is by having Odoamne teleporting in to stop this fast push against the squishies. That's 2 teleports now, been down, where Vitality has made a lot of plays during the time the teleport was on cooldown. So it's super important for Vitality to get that one and trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, goes up on the top side. Nukeduck knows it's there, so he will be backing out. They also ping on to Shook. Very active junglers now. The game has started to kick up a few notches. 12 minutes on the clock. That gold lead for Vitality. Still about 3,000 ahead. Making moves, and this is exactly what they need to do, as you said. H2K still trying to buy time for their Kog'Maw.
And we're going to see some Abyssals from Shook and Nukeduck. We're going to see Hexstringer from Cabochard and Hjarnan. Because H2K is mainly running a magic damage. Ryu will escape.
Oh, there's that flash away. Yeah, so Ryu definitely having a little bit of a hard time in his return. In fact, he played LIssandra in the last time he played on this stage.
Both Ryu and H2K.
Yeah.
Really from some good plays by Vitality and understanding how to play around the map and pressuring. Odo will get a tower, but this is a return of Vitality taking that bot lane tower.
Happened a few minutes ago.
A few minutes ago, exactly. So everything H2K wanted to do got delayed. And Vitality has been grouping as 4 when Odo had no TP. Because Malphite's pushing on lanes before Sunfire. Wasn't that great to take down towers. He didn't get the bot tower as an example. So just very good understanding of how to play the map from Vitality.
Yeah. So that gets his rage played. Completed for Forgiven here, but Vitality's still the ones making moves around the map. Still not quite, Hjarnan's not quite on the Trinity Force just yet, but they don't need it quite as they go ahead and secure Dragon number 1. I'll give them that 6% ADAP, a little bit more fighting power in this early stage of the game. Still only 13 minutes. Vitality are looking to try and accelerate that pace. The bomb's on Ryu, not a double. Still trying to poke and prod this tower down into oblivion. Ryu just keeps on taking the poke, though.
And the reason Vitality are grouping mid now is because Ryu has been falling behind. The way you want to play LIssandra is that you meet the minion wave instantly when it comes to lane, and you just spam 2 Qs on it and you kill the wave. That stopped this push from ever happening. But Rio has fallen behind, and H2K as a team has fallen behind, so he's now forced to sit at his tower and wait for the minions to show up. And then having that double Q wave clear is not that effective, because you can't one-shot the minions. And that buys time for Vitality to land a spear, land double bomb from Nukeduck, land maybe an ulti from KaSing, and get some damage on towers. So the longer you take to clear the waves, the harder it is to do it, and the higher risk there is of Vitality catching you under that tower. You can see how Rio, he wants to meet the wave here, but Nukeduck is just forcing him away every single time, and he's not able to instant wave clear. And that's why LIssandra is then going to be an issue, and allowing Vitality to make these moves to mid lane. They're doing exactly the same thing again.
Oh, the double
Here's
bomb.
Cabochard, here's KaSing. Rio has forced off the wave. His wave clear now doesn't matter, except for this super small wave. But the next one coming, chip damage on tower. A little bit of damage every single time.
Odo has to come down around as well. There's a wave building up the top side that he can't take out because he needs to be defending here. H2K are getting pulled towards the center, pulled by this team of Vitality. Continuing to make moves, continuing to step up this pace. And now you even see Hjarnan in the bottom side affecting a little quick 4-1 as they hope H2K respond to that top side threat for the moment.
And everything is small things that snowballs into bigger things. It's taking a 2v1 top where you trade 1 for 1 but use your teleport. So that's not available to flank TP, allowing Vitality to play aggressive in the jungle. Odoamne now has the chance to flank TP on Malphite. If Rio and him can time the engage, they can get fights and beat Vitality. If he blows another teleport without getting anything, then more towers will fall. Look how secure Vitality are, constantly pushing up. Double bomb incoming.
Oh no, Forgiven. Oh, he pulls out just in time. And now the tower still not quite down yet. Beat themselves away. Odoamne did not have to respond. Defending in 3 lanes. H2K still trying to hold off this onslaught of Vitality. 2,000 gold separating the two teams. A dragon, 1 tower, Vitality ahead. But still, the time is ticking, and I'm not talking about Zilean. Forgiven in that mid lane just keeps pew-pewing away to get himself more of a CS lead.
And H2K just being pushed so far back on the map. There are no wards behind Vitality where they could TP flank, with double teleport obviously from LIssandra Malphite. H2K are looking to team fights, but they're looking to push side lanes before team fighting. With double TP, that's one of the good things. You set up for your own flanks, because you have double teleport and you have double global. Second, you push down the waves, so that the enemy team is forced to lose minions if they take a fight with you, because they're not in the bottom side or the top side where the waves are coming into the towers. They lose those. Or they go down to clear their waves, and then they have no teleport from like Nukeduck, and it's a 4v5 engage from H2K later in the game. That's why you want to constantly push these side lanes. It has become so much harder because you're falling so far behind. But Odo has TP and ulti now. Like, this is the time for Odoamne to enter the game. He's not been in the game so far. First TP ulti has to matter.
Still just sitting on that Sunfire cape. Working his way towards the Iceborne Gauntlet as well, but not quite there yet, so he won't have as much damage available to him in the AoE to clear the waves out. Cabochard giving him a run for his money, keep pushing him back at the top side. They've also sent Rio into the side to catch up and make up for lost time.
And you can instantly see Vitality respecting.
Yep.
How double TP already. H2K put a ward in the mid lane. If we actually just take the camera and scroll it down a little bit, they place this ward here just as at the minions. Basically saying, if you ever push up on this tower, there's going to be double TP right here, and we're going to smack you in the face. So Vitality has to respect that.
They're smart enough to know, too. I mean, this is one of the reasons why they've gotten themselves so high up in the standings. They are a team that really understands, really respects strong opponents. H2K, arguably the strongest and the best at the macro game here in Europe, and not for nothing. Have to see how this one plays out. Ryu looks to go in, but he gets caught by the Cosmic Binding after a flash. Failure to launch that time around, but now Odo goes in and he's caught Hjarnan, instantly melts him down, and Forgiven claims his first kill of the game. All of a sudden, H2K turn on the gas, look for KaSing, knock him away, and Odoamne picks up that kill. H2K just start chunking on the tower.
I mean, we talked about this so much already, Pyra. We need that engage from H2K. It's what the comp is doing. They had the side lanes at first pushed up, then they left them to make this play here, while Vitality, without the double global, we're sitting and pushing side lanes back towards H2K. So Cabochard was top. Yes, he could TP, but it have no impact because the fight was already over when the engage happened. And then Nukeduck was sitting bot lane to catch that wave that was pushed in by Ryu earlier. That's again why you have to push those side lanes first for H2K. This tower is still going to go down because of everything that happened earlier, with all the chip damage from Vitality when there was no TPs.
But H2K have cut that gold lane in half. We'll take a look at how this fight laid out again. It was all Odoamne to start things off.
And you can see how Vitality, they know this can happen, but they're not really respecting it enough by staying so far up in the lane with Hjarnan. He could wait his own tier 1 tower here and just wait for the minions, like Ryu had to do earlier. You did not have to step forward and clear that wave, because your side lanes were being set up by Nukeduck and Cabochard. Big waves being pushed in. All you had to do here was avoid the engage, or at least force him to tower dive you. So that was a mistake by Hjarnan. First one we see Vitality do.
Vitality hoping they won't make any more of those mistakes. Still 2,000 gold ahead right now. The time being. Dragon's up and available, 30 seconds, and we'll see that Baron as well. But I don't expect a very quick Baron out of either of these teams. They definitely like to bide their time, but they will grab themselves a last-minute Rift Herald. See if they can get a little bit extra push with the attack speed that they give those minions. See if it goes over to it. Wouldn't be surprised if Shook takes it. Going on a roam. Yep.
Also just some easy goals. Get it to Shook, as you mentioned. Faster movement speed for him, faster recall. And he's using it already. Look at that. Look at the value.
So much value indeed. So with the mid lane busted wide open, the teams start to push around on that bottom side, but it's really all inner turrets remaining. A very, very close game. 3-3 in kills as we hit the 20-minute mark. 3-2 in towers, 1 dragon to none. Vitality holds that edge, but still, the timer is ticking on H2K's side. It's
one big team fight for H2K, and they're suddenly in the goal lead. They didn't use any teleports to create that play, giving them 2 kills before and a mid tower. So very well done by them, pushing the lanes first and roaming to mid. So Vitality, while they pushed them back, they didn't really get anything other than costing H2K some farm, but they got 2 kills on a mid tower, so that's obviously fine. So now you do have the option to play these side lanes that we talk so much about. And Vitality, they know. Try and group and create picks in the lane.
Double bombs on him, and he pulls out once again, only hits 1. Vander really, with those lanterns, has been big today so far. Dragon number 2 started up by Vitality. Look to get their tower burn on. They can actually get to it. The 2 top laners locked up in Mortal Kombat in the top side, or at least mortal avoidance for now. Shook will smite it down and secure that Drake. 21 minutes, and they get number 2. Still, H2K are starting to beat back this aggressive push from Vitality.
Yeah, definitely not fast enough Vitality if we're getting these dragons to really be a threat with it. Ryu can set up a fight and use Odoamne TP, but I prefer it for team fight, so I don't think you should use it to get a 2v1 kill. 1 kill doesn't really matter that much for H2K or Vitality. Well, actually does for Vitality, because they want to get that 1 kill and then transition into a tower. H2K want to get that big team fight instead, so don't use like double TP on just 1 single member. Instead, just push it back out. Cabochard is returning. Top lane now is pushed. Nukeduck is catching the waves and pushing them back out. It does mean H2K could set up a play, but you can see how far back now Vitality is sitting on the map. They're not risking anything. They know they have to push out the lane, so they're not doing anything. And it just slows down the game. That's what it keeps doing against Vitality. That's what happened last time they played each other. Nukeduck had to go to side lanes and clear waves, so Vitality could never force a play. And that bought enough time for H2K to go late game. And that's part of being a good defensive team, is understanding how to delay the other team by setting up these side lanes.
Well, you know, 2-1 may look great on the Graves right now, but in all honesty, it's probably Cabochard's worst score on this champion for the time being. I mean, 3 games undefeated on it. H2K managed to ruin that record. Ryu gets spooky ghosted, but he's out.
And you can see how KaSing and Shook are just moving between the lanes. Hjarnan controls mid lane, Nukeduck controls top lane, or one of the side lanes, and then Cabochard the other one, and then roam in between. That's all Vitality are looking to do. Spooky goes into ulti from KaSing to create that pick that then opens up for a Baron, opens up for a tier 2 tower, something that opens up the map where you don't have to invest 5v5.
Right. Vitality are definitely finding H2K much harder opponents than Origin with this composition. There is the Tempered Fate. Ryu's still trying to make plays happen. He's stopped Hjarnan, and now Odo gets the knock up here. They're going on him and should be able to take him out if not for that pesky chrono shift. But he'll spawn right back up in the middle, immediately burns his flat. Now they have to start it all over again, and Odo running right away from this one. H2K get nothing. And Vitality are on the chase. Odoamne, how long can he hold it on? Not much. And Cabochard blows him away.
Yeah, we're at the point of the game where the ulti from Nukeduck is so important, because H2K are not tanky enough to have these super prolonged fights just yet. So trying to pop 1 target and then get the Zilean ulti is key for Vitality to win. We saw the flank engage from Ryu. They even locked down Hjarnan in the middle of the magical journey in the mountain. He had to like step out of it and he got engaged on.
Yeah.
That's where the ulti were key, because Forgiven doesn't have enough damage to be that super, I'm just gonna 1v5 you in 2 seconds threat. just yet for H2K. So nice team fight for Vitality, and they got that one kill that led into a tower.
So even more gold for them. They get themselves a little bit further out in the lead, just trying to edge it forward. A lot of vision coverage dedicated to all of that as well. You can see it all around the Baron, see it all around the wave, or all around the top side. And pink wards in every inventory. I know you're happy about this, but let's see.
Love it.
Hjarnan just narrowly got caught, but thanks to Zilean, got out alive.
Same thing again, where they're roaming from side lanes from H2K, engaged in from Ryu, locks Hjarnan in place.
Mid-magical journey.
And it is looking very good here, but it's investing everything, and then the Zilean says no. The super clutch ulti from Nukeduck, and still the point where it is super important, because there's not enough red from the other H2K members, and they can even chase Odoamne in and get a kill, and then get top tower. So important play from Vitality.
Very well executed on the power spike they've got. So, Vitality, power move in the moment, trying to look for this mid tower, but there are no minions just yet available. Forgiven, still sending out the ultimate, just trying to keep everyone off this tower, but how long can he do it? Still, as you mentioned,
there is no wave clear.
Not strong enough yet.
H2K's comp is the kind of composition that can't really fall too far behind the lanes, because then they can't meet the waves early. We talked about it earlier, how Ryu has to wave there. Jankos dodging out of that one.
All right. Oh, still takes that spear. Not as much damage, though.
But the same for Forgiven. He needs to walk up early in lane to hit the minions to clear them fast. At the tower itself, he can't really do much because of the threat of a Zilean Bard. So it's very fun to see how quickly can you take the wave, or does Vitality get to the tower and then threaten you, which is enough then to take the tower. So Vitality are still in control. Odoamne has TP and is split pushing. Cabochard does not. This could be a 5v4 for H2K. If they have a ward behind Vitality, they're gonna pull the trigger, but they don't, because they haven't been far enough up the map for a long time to get any wards in the enemy jungle of Vitality. So they have to just say, you know what, we can't even engage, even though Cabochard is bot lane with no global.
H2K getting their ward clear on, just trying to make sure the Vitality can't make any more moves for the time being, but still, you're right, they're not able to pull the trigger on anything. They're not strong enough just yet. It's 26 minutes. They still need time for this Kog to get into ridiculous mode. And they're just trying to keep stalling out Vitality for the time being. After that top tower take. Haven't been able to get anything else just yet. Let's see if that changes, but still, 4,000 gold ahead is nothing to sneeze at.
Definitely not, and I want to see H2K get another ward in the mid lane, preferably close to where the tier 1 tower Vitality died, so you always have that as a potential option. Because the next step for Vitality they're going to do a lot is bait around Baron. Try and catch H2K in a rotation between the river where they don't have vision, and then get the 1 or 2 kills before the fight breaks out. But controlling mid lane is the key thing then. Always push in mid first. H2K can stop that by having wards behind them to set up threats, and that's why this pink ward is placed by KaSing, because that's a very normal spot for H2K to put a ward to flank, and he puts a pink to make sure, okay, we have a safe passage to the left if needed. And you can see how much they respect. We actually got 2 wards from H2K in the mid lane, so thank you. And now pink from KaSing to respond. So it's super small things. It's like, get a pink ward to deny them from flanking you, so now we can push up mid. Before, Vitality stayed back. Now they move forward because they just cleared out the wards.
Yeah, I mean, even if Vitality do get caught, you could see from the last time, it's just so hard when you're able to, when you have to blow your entire spell rotation, even a few ultimates to take out one member, and then Nukeduck denies it. So H2K, they really critically need this Kog'Maw. Yes, it's crucial to the comp, but they just need the clock to start winding forward. And speaking of clocks, Nukeduck just keeps on chucking them out. The bombs are hurting so much here. As Cabochard waits in the bottom side to deal with Odo. His teleport's back up, though.
So there is 1 ward for H2K to try and engage, and H2K...
It's not deep enough, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're not allowed, because look at all these defensive pink wards from Vitality. They are the team who places the most pink wards, or at least the second most pink wards in the EU LCS, and a lot of it comes from KaSing specifically, but it's just the correct way to play, because you deny every flank opportunity, and you just play around it. You bait around Baron, wait for a pick to happen with their Zilean Bard, then you can take the Baron, or you can push in for in-hit. Never overextend. One bad team fight and Vitality is out of the game.
They definitely know this. Playing it as close to the best as they possibly can. H2K trying to keep the waves pushed away. Still sending Odoamne on wave clear duty. It's just a non-aggression pact as both teams kind of hang back from the line.
But a big problem here for H2K, they've been so far back, and now they finally saw the light moving to the mid lane. But they had no wards left. No wards in the side storm for Vander, no wards in the tracking line for Jankos, so they couldn't actually place anything. Your minimap is still fully cleared. And Vitality knows this, so they're again playing aggressive because they can.
Yeah, Dragon's up too as well. Vitality know this one is a pretty easy take for them, but all of a sudden H2K, they aimed on the Baron, but they're too afraid to make a move that way. It's very dangerous even at this point in the game. Dragon 3, easily taken, no contest by Vitality. The move speed now will give them even more of an edge.
Good push top lane for Rio, forcing someone to go back and defend. And at this point, it's not even about getting the team fight for H2K, it's about seeing someone defend it without a teleport so we can push out mid lane and get some of these wards placed. Vander just refreshed his Sidestone. Jankos refreshed his Tracking Knife. That's very key for H2K. Do not waste too many wards defensively now. You need them further out. Corki's pushing mid. Opens up now for H2K to actually step a little bit forward. And we see a ward being placed at the Baron. Another ward next to the Baron for H2K. And all these are very important for that teleport play.
If and when they're able to make it, Vitality, if they make one mistake, H2K can capitalize. We've seen it earlier on in this mid lane with Hjarnan just stepping a little bit out of line and Odoamne pouncing on him.
H2K should have been able to push up mid here and actually place deeper wards. They were just recalling at the same time Vitality were, meaning they couldn't do it. So you're still stuck in the same situation, even though Vitality actually reset the map. You didn't really gain anything into H2K, you're just waiting now. Waiting, waiting, waiting.
So that game, Vitality still trying to push up, just instantly cleared away. There really isn't much for them to be able to do unless they try to force attention. And the top laners have pretty much been locked down bottom side for a while, and the wave is neutral in the mid side. But as H2K back off, more wards are getting cleared out around the Baron pit. Vitality, their move might be to try and bait this.
And again, constant pink wards behind Vitality when moving forward. Shook is going to find Jankos.
Ooh, dodges the cocoon, but the Spiderling will take him out, and that ward is instantly cleared away. Shook still tired of the waiting game, trying to push along with the rest of his team. Except for Cabochard, of course, still in the bottom side. They back away again.
But it makes the game so slow because Vitality knows they cannot overextend at any point.
There's the Bard ult, though.
For pick now. There is a ward behind it. Odoamne can TP too.
Okay, he throws the hook. He does manage to catch Shook.
It's the fight though for H2K.
He's going so low, but he's got the Zilean ult on, and all of a sudden Cabochard is in with everybody else, but H2K says not today, and they pick up the kill here, and now Vitality in full retreat, not on the same page with Cabo.
It's been such a slow-paced mid-game because Vitality knew this was going to happen. As soon as they stepped a little bit too far forward, they didn't know what wards were behind them or to the flank. Instant. TP from H2K, get a kill. Stop Vitality from doing anything. It's what we just talked about over and over. And yes, it makes it very slow-paced, but it's the small moves. And what's going to happen is because of the death timers now being so long, you know, one bad team fight and suddenly you lose Baron and 3 inhibs are down.
There's no Cabochard to side push these waves anymore. H2K should have the power move for the time being. Taking a look at those items across the board, we haven't come back to them in a little while. You see Odo getting bigger, but he makes it known here.
So they're trying to create a catch, hopefully before Odoamne can TP in, but now they don't really respect the pink ward on left side. There was another one on right side. And then they start overextending, and now, yes, Shook can get his ulti from Nukeduck, get the ulti from Nukeduck. Cabochard TP's in on Graves, probably expecting that ulti from Nukeduck that went on to Shook. And then he just dies instantly instead.
Yep. Deceptively tanky Graves, but this time he wasn't able to stay alive. That's just as many deaths as he's had in 3 games on that champion, by the way. Vitality are finding this game a bit tougher to chew on than H2K. 4-4 in the kills. H2K still trailing by 3K gold and 3 dragons, but they were able to make the counterplay that time where it counted.
And when you have these siege comps, the great thing about them is if they get Baron, it's so easy to push into the enemy base and do a whole lot. The problem is it's so hard to get the Baron because there is no one who can tank the Baron for Vitality. Outside of maybe Cabochard with the BT. But even if he does that and he stands in there, he will start taking quite some damage from it. And then you also enable a Malphite LIssandra ulti while you're stuck in a Baron pit. So it's so difficult for you to take the Baron, but it's also so difficult to push forward. And now they're just trying to make these picks over and over, and they've been failing to do so.
Spending that ultimate. H2K know they have the edge here. Cabochard's still pushing up the top side uncontested, but meanwhile, he might have to come back on down because Ryu comes around the side, gets the lockup on Nukeduck, throws the ult on himself, but he is going to go down for the time being. We'll come back up in a moment. Vitality trying to reposition here. The claw, the flay, Nukeduck, he should be going down, hooked in, going nowhere. Forgiven gets the kill on that one, and H2K don't need much. They get just enough.
So second good flank now for H2K, where Vitality are trying to move forward, but they kind of been slipping a little bit in the vision game, and they're getting punished. We've gotten to that late game point we mentioned earlier, Pyro, where Forgiven is super farmed. He's a massive threat now. Ryu can still go in with Odoamne and one-shot a target. And the Zilean ulti will buy time, yes, but there's enough tanky stats on H2K for them to buy time naturally by having the Odoamne in the front line, by having Jankos. So the fights won't be as fast-paced where the Nukeduck ulti or where the Zilean ulti really shines anymore.
That powder keg is on a short fuse. The spooky ghosts come out, but there is no intention to chase. In fact, Ryu is the one looking to flank around the side. Gets the claw, looks for Cabo, gets him locked up. There's no Zilean ulti as he's still down in this one. Cabochard still tanking it up, and he manages to blow himself backwards here. No H2K members die, however. Blinking health bars across the board. Vitality have fended off the attack. But at what cost here?
Well, that means for H2K, they use quite a lot. Teleport blown from Ryu, Engage is used from Odoamne. This is actually the chance for Vitality to go Baron. Right now. H2K expected to one-shot Cabochard, but he had the BT shield, the Morphin Mortis, and the tankiness of Graves.
And he's back up to full health.
This is really the opening for Vitality. That engage from H2K, not getting anything. Baron is going down. Everything Vitality tried to do for the last 15 minutes and couldn't do just happened after one fight.
All they needed to do was wait for H2K to then make the mistakes that they had been making, go a little bit too far. Didn't get anyone lost there, but you saw Nukeduck goes down after he gets his ultimate on, and then H2K get a little bit too aggro, trying to take out Cabo.
This is the first fight. Just a good flank. Odoamne saving ulti, so H2K knows they can win the 5v5. But then using it after.
So close here. We'll take a look at that Baron power play. It's not huge, obviously, yet, because Vitality haven't really done much with it, but they did take it uncontested. Dragon number 4, though, is taken out, and that is very important with the changes now that have come in, giving them some reduction on damage to try and siege down these towers. It might give them some more courage to be able to do it.
Ah, man, that Graves, he's tankier than you expect.
Yep.
When you dive him, he's not a normal AD carry.
Cabo said it himself. Interviewed him a few weeks back when that was just starting to become a thing. H2K have to be careful here. The Kog'Maw is still big, but they don't have a whole lot more damage.
And I really like this banner of command from KaSing. Not only is it great on board, but also against all the magic wave play from H2K. It's really going to allow Vitality to use the siege comps so effectively. Ulti is ready for Odoamne and for Ryu. So you have to respect the possible engage that can happen.
Hjarnan still pushed pretty high up here, but he's going to back out when it's safe enough to do so. Still sitting on his Valkyrie. Cabochard back to the top side of this one. The Baron power play started to creep up a little over close to 2,500 gold here, but Vitality still know they need to push as much as they possibly can and keep H2K from getting back into this game.
Push and secure your flanks before you do it, or you get engaged on and die. So we are still in for a long one, guys, because Vitality is not going to start rushing into the enemy base, because then they die. They're going to keep playing this super slow pace, catch someone out before we do anything, or ward up everything with pings.
Still got a minute left on that Baron buff, though, so if they can make use of it. You see Cop's already backing away, so everyone's in the mid lane for the time being. H2K still trying to defend, but they've been reduced at this point to only inhibitor turrets behind their, or in front of their base.
It is crazy, though, in the EU LCS. If Vitality wins this game, we have 4 teams tied for first place. So we have the top 4, then I guess we can say we have like Fnatic, Origin, Connie sitting in the middle, and then we have the bottom 4.
But if H2K wins, then they stand alone in first place because G2 lost earlier today. So it's really, really high stakes. But, you know, Europe, it's just been such a slugfest between those top-heavy teams. We used to seeing Fnatic or bust, or in some days Origin or bust, or another challenger that's so close with that year with Alliance taking off the top spot. But this is a different EU LCS this year.
I agree, and it might not always be the most entertaining thing watching the bottom 4 teams struggling to beat the top 6 teams, but it is good for a region to have consistency from your top teams. So the fact they can consistently beat the bottom teams is a good thing. That's something Europe has struggled with before, where randomly like the last team would just take off the game of like the second best team. These kind of upsets we don't really see anymore.
Definitely not, and I think a lot of that also has to do with a bit with the meta right now. Because so many power picks available that you have to give something up. You have to give something away. And different teams, they have slight variations in what they like, what they prioritize, but all the same, there's still a lot of these very valuable power picks. I mean, Vitality making this, dare I say, niche composition just worked for them so well. No one else has tried this yet. And
also just because this game as an example, we see all these small things that impact the game a lot more than you expect. Like, it snowballs into bigger things very quickly, and if you make one mistake by overstepping, you die. and you lose something. And that's where the bottom teams have really struggled to consistently just make like the right play. And they often then get punished and die, even though they might win the early game. Where Vitality is playing so super safe, up until a point where they did overextend a little bit. But then H2K made a mistake and it turned back to Vitality.
Yeah, you know, last year, like H2K, the different H2K, last year's H2K, were known for that safer rotational playstyle, the lane swaps all the time. But this year, it's not just them, it's Vitality as well. Not just these two teams. We've seen Unicorns of Love looking a lot crisper around the map. We have seen, you know, the likes of G2 playing a little bit differently. Obviously, it's punished them just a little bit, but they're still hanging up towards that top side. And even Fnatic are starting to pull off some really, really unexpected, crazy victories. I'm just really curious to see how this split shakes out for the rest of them. We've only got, after this, 3 more weeks to go before playoffs, and every win especially counts for these top-tier teams. Facing off against each other, it's almost a preview of things to come.
And IM Katowice in between after week 7 of the EU LCS. We have the break with IM Katowice going on, Origin and Fnatic going from Europe.
That'll be a great one to see as well. International competition in the middle of spring. But back to this game, we zoomed out a little bit too much. Let's go right back on in. We're approaching that 40-minute mark, and that is good news for Forgiven. Ryu around the side looking to set up this flank. If Vitality don't know what's coming for him, this could hurt.
See if they can burn down Nukeduck maybe before he can ulti to have that flank going. Here's Ryu!
Oh, he gets the knock up at the last second, and now Shook is going down, but stopped up by the Tempered Fate. Ryu gets absolutely exploded by Cabochard. Exhaust is down on him, and he's going to get chunked out very slowly. Forgiven is able to out-damage him here. All said and done, the damage report is 1 for 1.
That was an insane ulti from KaSing though, really saved Vitality. It could have gone horribly wrong, end up trading 1 for 1. He basically stopped H2K from insta-killing Shook. Once Shook came out, he could flash away. Cabochard went down though. Again, Forgiven has hit his insane late game point.
Oh, he's caught. Okay, he's got a cleanse. You know what this game is, Deficio? This is war.
Yes.
They got battle lines drawn, and there is just moments of waiting followed by sheer terror.
And then when it happens,
it's all over quick. Let's take a look at that one again.
Just done. So like, let's see. Ryu is hiding in the bushes, so it's a good setup. Vitality walks in towards him. Beautiful ulti on himself. Odoamne only gets Shook, and this ulti here from KaSing just stops everything from H2K. They were gonna pop Shook instantly and then start rolling over Vitality. Didn't happen due to KaSing.
Oh, he didn't take out Shook either.
So close in the end.
Oh man, he thought he had him. Shook just able to play cat and spider on that one to get away.
Dragon is alive in 10 seconds. Baron is alive in 30 seconds. Vitality is on 4 Dragon, so H2K has to get him on. They're going for mid.
Didn't even bother for Shook. He goes for Hjarnan right now, and he is in some trouble. Around the backside, Ryu's there. They stop him with the Tempered Fate.
Dragon is alive, though. They're taking it.
Up. Shook, they're going to be able to get this one quick if they can. This is number 5, a massive buff. They need to stop it. Get the hook off. On to Shook. Insecure. Dragon 5. Now Vitality are on the run, though. Let's see if Shook can get away. He's not going to last very long with Jankos on his tail. One more hit should do it, but he's got the heal up. Separated from that team, but he's gone on a wildcat
chase. This chase is the game in a nutshell. It always has to take a lot of time before anything happens, and Shook refuses to die. He has that Dragon 5 buff. He really wants to save it. Only Hjarnan didn't get it. I think Shook is going to keep running forever. Baron is up.
In Nidalee, it's hard to do.
H2K, if they start Baron here, they don't have a lot of mana on Forgiven. They have no ulti on Odoamne. Ryu does have his ulti to engage with. They want to force Vitality into a fight. Shook is low. He's on a ward.
Oh, this is the spear, though. Ryu's going to be able to knock him up and take him down, or rather lock him up, I should have said. Ryu gets blown away by Kog'Maw in the back, but this Baron is still being contested. It goes down, smited away by Jankos. And now Vitality have to get out of dodge. Nukeduck dodging and weaving for just a second in the magical journey, followed up by the H2K members. The Tempered Fate is on Kog'Maw, trying to blow him up, but he mistimes it now. He's going to get taken out, tanky though he is. It is 2 for 1, and H2K get 4 members with Baron.
Yeah, this late game from H2K is very, very strong against what Vitality drafted. Not only do you have good scaling for Forgiven, you also have that hard engage and multiple options now, because we've gotten late into the game where the pressure from Vitality has stopped. So there are now multiple wards to use for H2K. And Hjarnan had no flash from that last fight.
That whole chain of events starts right here, instantly taken out, but then the Dragon fight, then the Baron, then the Nidalee chase. Well, not quite in that order.
Second time today, though, where Hjarnan is trying to push up mid lane very aggressively. H2K knew he had no flash, and you can see Odoamne ignored everyone around the Dragon. He just walked straight for Hjarnan. Killed him, and then even though Vitality got Dragon, H2K had already won the fight by killing one guy. And there was always no chance for H2K to create a pick because H2K are running together.
Yeah. Well, it's harder for them to catch out someone like Nukeduck. Cabochard's a little deceptively tanky. So Hjarnan, though he's on a safe AD carry on the Corki, he's still pretty much dog meat at this point. So Well, take a look. Forgiven has been massive in just pecking off targets, able to hold the line as best he can, and nobody's really been able to jump and pounce on him and take him out. So
there is no backline threat. I mean,
that's the problem.
You see, it's Cabochard dashing forward into his face, trying to kill him. The only way, you know, all the way back in champs, like we were talking about how Forgiven can die, is like the Bard ulti into the Zilean double bomb into AoE from Cabochard to kill him. But he has flash. He has a QSS as well. So like that should never happen late game for Forgiven.
This game has been oh so close. Vitality's still in the gold lead right now, and they're trying to push down mid despite the Baron buff on H2K. That Baron power play is sitting at 3,000 to get them a little bit in a better position. Vision wars around the map. I mean, this game just really has everything. Vitality not keen on making another mistake, especially not with the power that Kog'Maw's now bringing. We
might see KaSing try and bait the flash from Forgiven with his ulti, because that's obviously the only thing Forgiven can do against the bot ulti is flashing out of it. So use that cooldown to try and trade for Forgiven's flash to then set you up to potentially kill him in the next fight. But it's so difficult because you have to step forward to do it, and we see what happens time and time again. Yes, it's been not super action-packed, but it's all the small things. It's both teams trying to play correct and making as few mistakes as possible.
Yeah. But also, these have got to be the two smartest teams in the EU at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say. But it's also just like what a comp can do at specific times and what it can't do. How difficult it is for Vitality to actually rush a Baron without a real tank in any way and against so much AoE engage. How difficult it was for H2K to stop sieges once the mini wave hit the towers, because Bard and Zilean were there and they had no instant wave clear. It was double Qs from Ryu or multiple hits from Forgiven. So it's fun to see how both comps have good things and bad things and how other teams try to punish it.
Yeah, we are definitely in for a long one though. As you said, we've just hit 45 minutes on the mark here. Dragon is going to be available in another 2 though, and Vitality, you know, they may not have gotten that last Baron, but they have been playing the Dragon game.
Yeah.
You said at the beginning of the split, it didn't look like it was going to be as much of a contested objective, but when you get into this kind of game, especially with the changes that have come in for patch 6.3 to Dragon, well, 5 is still unchanged, but it is a massive boon to double all those buffs.
We are just at the point where it's more on H2K for making mistakes and getting caught up by Vitality for them to win. So they're going to keep looking for that one pick. H2K is going to set up for this Dragon once it respawns, put a few wards behind the Dragon, and then you have your opening to flank. Vitality might just give up that Dragon and say, you know what, we're going to let you push down to our base and then we're going to try and catch you.
Right.
Because if they start moving out here, they have no control of the jungle on the bottom side. They can't. That would be suicide for Vitality, honestly.
Still, it's just another nail, I feel, in the coffin. You take a look at it. I mean, they're doing this much damage without that 6% Dragon buff from the very first one that they would secure. How much stronger is H2 going to get? How big is Forgiven going to be able to go this time around? You can see how little fear he has. The fear enchant on his Ionian boots, and you know, every time he steps forward, well, he doesn't really need to step, he just stands in the middle. He's constantly making it rain.
It's an interesting choice actually going for CDR boots for him. Purely, in my opinion, just for the flash cooldown. Because he knows the only way he's gonna die is if his flash is on cooldown. So get 10% cooldown there from your boots to shorten that down a little bit. And then see if KaSing wants to trade ulti for flash. It's gonna be up a little bit sooner than expected. Because like he's already gonna have so much attack speed, he doesn't need more of it. So it's, I like this getting the cooldown reduction with like obviously multiple reasons. One of them is the summon spell. Another thing is just you have enough attack speed already.
Yeah, and the score of the minions really the casualty here. There are some massive CS numbers starting to stack up. Odoamne has done the sit and wait.
And this is so risky for Vitality if they want to fight this Dragon. They have no control behind them. Odoamne
there's so many bombs, and he's going to be able to dodge at least some of them now. Still,
there's the teleport.
It's going to be on. Teleport into the backside. Let's see if he can get it. Odo's looking to go bowling, and he hits 3 on the back half of it. KaSing is getting melted. Vander picks the kill credit. Dragon 1 will be secured. Jankos nearly buys it with his life, though. Vitality lose out on that Drake, and they lose their support.
Yeah, Vitality never had a point where they could actually set up for the Dragon and spot where Odoamne could TP to. They didn't see him. He just walked in behind him. 4-man ulti, I believe. Vitality might look at it this way and say, if we don't get Dragon 5 and push to win, we won't win the game at all. So we have to take that chance and then maybe take the smite war, like the 50-50.
There have been so many fights that have ended with just 1 or 2 casualties this time. It is such a crazy back and forth, so close. The gold is still only about 3,000. And both teams playing it just well enough to not give up that much more members. Let's see how it all happened with the teleport on the backside. Instead of flashing in, he just casually strolls forward, and yeah, he nails the 4-man knockup.
They didn't even see him coming. They had no wards behind the dragon to spot him. And just a beautiful engage from Odoamne straight onto the squishies, and Jankos secures the dragon. I think, honestly, Vitality were just saying we need to rush for 5 dragons and use that to win the game within 3 minutes, or to get the next Baron maybe and then win the game. Otherwise, it's going to keep happening over and over. This is just insane to look at.
Yeah, as you can see, Vitality, they've held that lead, but it has not gotten much better since the 40-minute mark hit. In fact, it has been going down. Next Baron is only 10 seconds away. We're not quite 50 minutes on the clock, but we're close. Ryu is backing. He's got teleport. Odo doesn't, but he's still hanging around. This could be the fight that decides it all. I don't think Vitality are fool enough to start taking it, though.
This time around, though, H2K doesn't have a great setup to engage in. Odoamne has no TP. Ryu does, though, so he's going to be the man flanking. Good wards from Vitality behind. This does mean they can actually push up mid now. If they can get to this mid tower,
he's got the package.
They can force a fight, but again, you don't want to do that because Odoamne is sitting now flanking you.
They just keep on wave clearing away.
I mean, we have to see KaSing try and just ulti to force a summoner, or if H2K makes a mistake to get the pick. He's doing it now. He has a spooky ghost. Here's the ulti we talked about. Odoamne is coming in, though.
They were only able to catch Forgiven, but he just gets yanked out once again by Vander. Keep on trying. They keep on missing. Forgiven keeps pulling that disappearing act. On the Kog, he's making him dance very quickly.
Forgiven didn't have to use his flash. That was the key thing.
Yeah. He didn't even have to use his QSS. He didn't get caught by anything else.
Vitality, we're not in position to follow up. You want to follow up with the double bomb, you get QSS, and nice engage!
Odo's got 2, and they look for Nukeduck, melt him down, and Nukeduck is not even able to hold himself. Cabochard trying to run away from this one, but the line is holding for H2K. Cabo, the Jankos, he gets blown back by the end of the line, and Cabochard manages to answer 1 for 1. H2K just don't have enough damage with the disengage, and now Vitality might be looking to chase here. Ryu, he's too low to keep fighting. He backs away as well.
It's a great engage again, but what the thing about Forgiven and the champion he's playing is he doesn't do well if he's having to chase, because he wants to stand still and deal damage. Whenever he walks, he loses some DPS, and he had to kind of chase after Cabochard to try and kill him. Second time, though, H2K going for Cabochard, and he ends up blowing someone up, and this Banner Command minion is the way to set up the split push for them. TPs are here. Ryu has ulti.
Oh, Baron started. That is not a time for a pause. We got 51 minutes on the clock. We'll take a look at what's going on with that one, but still a very tense moment as Vitality look to start that Baron.
Nukeduck is dead for another 29 seconds at the moment.
It's a bold move.
Odoamne has no ulti, but Ryu does, and he has TP as well. There are a few, there's actually only a single ward behind Vitality at this point. This is a very, very risky Baron, but again, to me, it's one of these calls you have to make if you want to win the game. You cannot sit back and be passive anymore for Vitality's side, because then we're going to keep having some of these big team fights, and eventually H2K will just pop them and kill them. So they're trying to make the risky plays, like get the Baron, get 5 dragons, and use that to try and close out the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's take a look at that fight that did happen again. Only ended up in a 1-for-1, but still looked like it could have been bigger.
Yeah, so we get the flank from Odoamne, flash ulti in, Nukeduck gets popped instantly. Good follow-up CC from H2K. They don't get a Cabochard, and this is where Graves really shines, because now all his items are popping. If you see how Forgiven is losing TPS trying to chase after him, and Jankos in the end, I mean, late game and Elise is not very scary. He's also half AP, almost actually, he's actually full AP. So he just dies very, very quickly, and it's enough for Vitality to get 1-for-1 and not lose the Baron. Had they lost that fight, straight to Baron from H2K.
Yeah, but with the 1-for-1, it really is only all they can do. So just to let you guys know a little bit more information, we have a administrative pause going on because there's a bit of a bug with the vision in one of the wards. This is something that's known. It's something that's being informed of the players in the back of the pit. So they're letting them know where it is. They're able to clear it out, and then the game will resume as normal.
Problem is they don't have a pink or a trinket ready to clear the ward.
So they do know it, but they can't do anything about it, unfortunately. Still.
Yeah, because we're so late in the game where you max out on items. It's only the support who can have pinks, but KaSing are constantly moving them when they, like when they're moving further up the lane, he takes a new pink ward and places it. This guy has played so many wards in this game because he always stacks up like 2 of them, plays the first one, and then when they move forward, they place the second one and replaces the first one. Right. To like make sure, okay, can I spot Odoamne, Ryu? It's still a risky Baron no matter what.
Well, there's 2 TPs available.
Yeah, Ryu can TP in, and Odoamne, even without ulti, it's up in like 10, 15 seconds. So this Baron is like a Hail Mary call, basically, from Vitality.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes. Looks like the players are ready to get back into it. Let's take a look. They decide.
Oh, KaSing actually had his
they do clear it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
That's great. No more TPs available, but there's still that pink in the backside. Odo's still taking the long margin. Cabo around the back finds Ryu. Oh, the Zanyas, and he's going to try to yoink him Blade of Freedom, and he manages to stay alive, clawing it out. Cabo gets robbed of a kill. Odo gets stunned up by the Cosmic Binding, turning back around, and they find themselves Hjarnan. Nukeduck still down for 5 seconds. Shook flashing away. The smoke screen's thrown down, and now H2K with one more kill. Jankos coming back up. They've got to clear these side waves, though.
Another fight, though, with just one kill. Again.
Over and over.
Vitality knew what could happen starting the Baron. We didn't get to see if the sweeper was active or not due to the pause, but it was, so KaSing could clear out the wards. But still, there was a ward behind that we highlighted before where Ryu could TP in. So again, you get their summoners, or at least the TP, but you lose another fight for Vitality. They are still slightly ahead in gold, but it means nothing at this point.
It definitely does not mean much. 89.5 to 88.5.
They can actually go Baron now from H2K.
Oh, missing the
H2K, just go Baron. Just go Baron. You have ulti from Ryu.
He's close enough.
Odoamne's ulti soon, and like Hjarnan is dead. Vitality can try and trade from mid tower, but that's about it. They can't fight this one.
So quick.
Vitality cannot fight.
They're going to try. They're going to at least try to force them away from this. It's half health. This would be a 50-50.
Oh, Odoamne missed it.
He's not able to get his unstoppable force, though. And the double bomb was on Vander and Jankos. They turn away from the Baron. They give up their chance to secure it. It's already regenerating. They've got to leave.
This went from you cannot fight this Baron to H2K has to run away because Odoamne missed his ulti.
Oh, Nukeduck. Ooh, that was close.
Mid tower is open now. I mean, Vitality are now suddenly getting a lot from this. That mid tower is dead.
Yeah, that's going down. That is a lot of damage that Cabochard's able to deal. So they managed to secure a tower after all of it. The base is just barely cracked open. KaSing clearing the vision outside of that Baron pit. Small mistakes, small edges. That's what's going to turn the tide in this game. And Vitality have managed to find the one they needed.
But again, late game here, the cooldown is just not long enough. Distortion enchants, CDR boots on almost everything from H2K to get lower cooldowns on these summoners here. So even if they use something, you have like a 30-second window basically where there's no ulti from either Ryu or Odoamne. And even teleports maybe. I mean, you have obviously a longer window, but it's so hard because it's always one guy using TP from H2K. It's never both in this game. So there's always someone who can take the other lanes and then have that flanking option every time. And now Dragon is going to be another fight. 5 Dragons are still on the table for Vitality. They have very few wards around behind them though, so Odoamne will have an opening with TP home guard. Look here where Hjarnan is in mid lane. Multiple wards around him.
Vitality going to try to force a push. There's no tower defending in that mid side, but Dragon is up once again. It'll be number 5 once again for Vitality. See if they decide to go for this one. H2K looking to move and try to counter it. It'll be their second if they're able to secure it. But again, so careful of these fights. The game could end quite easily at 54 minutes. So much longer than either of their averages, too. I mean, these are the slow and steady teams, right? Their averages and wins are only 40 minutes. They're beating that by a good 14 at the moment.
They try and play by the book.
It's not a race, it's a marathon.
As much as possible. So Odoamne is still sitting in base, by the way, waiting for his home guards. He's not gone AFK or anything. Yeah. He has the ward in mid lane he's looking at.
There's also a pretty big wave pushing H2K's favor. The Dragons have started.
Yeah, that ward just disappeared. H2K doesn't have a great ward for Odoamne to use at the moment.
And they're starting to peck it down here. Odo, what do I do, guys? He's going to teleport right in the backside of it all to try and come in to take them out. The Dragon is secured. It goes over to Vitality. That is number 5 now. And they're able to make their escape and turn up towards mid. This game, just about 55 minutes. This is the longest game in the split, too.
And it's going to go even longer because we're going to have the same now. Vitality's going to go clear out, or at least start the Baron, but there are still ultis ready for H2K. If they can rush it down in time, they can get it. But
I called the wrong Dragon.
They won't be able to get much more right now because they have to respect the engage from H2K. So they get Baron, they can rush it down. Good move from them. They had the mid lane control before the fight. And we talked about Odoamne had to take that defensive teleport because there were no wards behind.
Yeah, okay, so clarifying, totally made the mistake because Jankos got the smite off on H2K, but Vitality did secure the Baron. They were able to clear out the top side. So now H2K got the bit of a tower burn, but they still need to contend with this Baron buff and the Banner of Command minions. So another Baron goes over, and Vitality have bought themselves some more time in this game. It is so hard to try and force a fight because both of these teams keep bobbing and weaving, ducking and diving to try and get away from it all. And KaSing just needs to land one big tempered fate for them to surround, and then they can get the double bombs off to end this one. But still, if they don't get it, the Kog'Maw can completely wreck them.
And it's impossible just to clear out these wards before you move forward because you can only have one pink. And that's on KaSing. Everyone else is maxed out. Either you need to switch over and get more red trinkets to clear these wards on the way, but it's very difficult to do because you gotta find them exactly where they are and get them cleared and then know, okay, H2K has nothing left here. So you never have that safety behind you. Odoamne is now sneaking down behind. No TP, but can still flank, and he's not spotted. Blue trinket just spotted him there.
Just keep on reading the other team's moves. Now Odo's isolated, actually. That big package coming in as Hjarnan trying to take out Odoamne. The rock is still standing tall, and the lantern will bring him to safety, but H2K have other things on their mind. They've got to stop the wave up top side, and they've got to deal with 5 members trying to knock down their front door.
Let's see if H2K can flank. I feel like we've said that 500 times in this game.
Well, they got another chance to do it.
As you can see, it's what basically the game is about. Vitality is so afraid of stepping into the base because they're also grouping closer when you step inside the entrance, setting up that perfect engage potentially from H2K. And again, we're so late in the game, the death timers, like, whoever loses the next fight should instantly lose the game.
Yeah.
Unless it's the same
but
one
it's
kill
also 1 for 1 every single time. The Baron empowerment starting to chunk down on this tower. Hjarnan steps a little bit too close. Take the tower. Wow, that's got some serious damage on that one. Vander's not able to land the hook, and Forgiven will get bombed this time, but he still manages to get out.
Got the QSS.
They get the QSS off, so they keep on pushing topside.
But again, it's all about the Odoamne not having TP, so he can't flank. He's just staying around with the team, and then a double ban of command minions here.
Those are big cannon creep.
Pushing in, stopping the wave clear. So finally Vitality had an opening to siege. We're still looking for that engage. It's not going to be this one.
Okay, H2K still trying to hold firm on their inhibitor. They have a ward in the back, and Odoamne will soon have his TP, but he'll have to do it out in the open right here. They see him coming.
The H2K doesn't want to fight right now unless they see the perfect ulti from Odoamne. They want to wait for TP up. There's a ward behind Vitality at the moment. I'm not sure when it's going to disappear. Let me just check.
Very soon is the answer.
Yeah, very soon. Just a few more seconds on that one.
Still, they're taking a lot of poke here, and this is just not in their favor in the bottom side. The mini wave is creeping and crawling up there, but there's no Baron empowerment on it because Vitality are stacking 5 members here, trying desperately to take this inhib. You see the bottom picture, the laser doing its work, but still the mini wave starting to overwhelm. H2K need to send someone to deal with that. Odoamne is backed off for the time being as he now moves towards the bottom. Can H2K hold this one? It is oh so close as we near the 1 hour mark on this match.
And you see how minions are just constantly pushing in the lanes for Vitality because they have an extra tower down there, so they get that small bonus coming in as well to help out that push, despite no inhibs being down. Add in the fact that we have some ban of command minions as well, because there's tier 2 towers are still alive for Vitality in both top and mid lane. Sorry, top and bot lane. Still the same. Sneak forward. Who dares hitting the Nexus? They might get engaged on.
Do not want to take that risk. Another dragon will be an option in a minute and a half. How many have gone on this game? And well, Vitality can secure, they would get their second Dragon 5. They are going to back off. So, H2K have held. They have pulled the 300 Spartan for 1 day. We'll see if they can do it again. And that tower is so low, so close to falling, though. They have sustained some pretty heavy casualties in their own objectives. Odoamne down on the bottom side. Everyone backing away on Vitality's side for the time being now.
And we're getting to the point where you start selling your items and like replacing them from other things.
Too bad there's no Zephyr anymore, right?
Yeah. No,
oh, that is gross. That is so much damage. I keep trying to push out in that middle. Still, no inhibitors taken. There is a ward just inside the base if Cabochard wants to do something crazy, but as risk-averse Vitality have been this game, we have hit an hour into this game. It has been a struggle for both of these teams. An epic struggle. We're getting close to Lord of the Rings movie status here.
And there's nothing we can say. They won't be just repeating what we said before. Vitality, once again.
That's all right.
Moving down to start setting up a dragon. H2K has been pushed very far back, so this is very important. Because it's hard for H2K now to find the opening to engage. Flashes are ready for every single member. Flash that Odoamne ulti, and suddenly you might win the fight if you're Vitality. Fail to flash it, and Odoamne locks them down together with Rio, and suddenly H2K wins the fight.
The theater of war shifted. Dragon just coming online here. Baron will be up in a minute and a half, but that really won't matter if the fight goes one-sided. Oh, well, we said we were hoping to see some dragon fights. I think this might be the one, Deficio. Let's see if H2K can take it away. That'll be their number 3 as they take the Scuttle Crab. Vitality slowly creeping in.
Again, though, Vitality are sitting towards the mid lane, so they have the control. In case they just want to disengage, they can start rushing up towards mid if they win the fight.
Oh, no, yep, taken away.
Forgiven got it.
Forgiven was able to take it. Odoamne body blocked most of the damage, and in comes Rio around the side to try and force the fight. They find Hjarnan here. He's got the ultimate from Zilean. Chrono shifted, doesn't even need it right now, and H2K are starting to melt away, but it's Nukeduck that goes down. After the back of it, they hook in Cabochard, trying to take him out. He flashes around the side, manages to get the double kill, and Forgiven, he's gone down. That's it. And Vitality, the triple kill for Cabo, and that's gonna be it.
Entire engage from H2K were towards Hjarnan, one single member, so that's where the ulti for Nukeduck was so important. They didn't manage to get anything else. And in the end, Vitality can win the fight. They've been playing so safe for such a long time, and it looked really, really bad at moments. And then that last engage where H2K again had no wards behind them to TP to, they couldn't flank properly.
Yeah, Ryu just tried to force, got a little impatient, but at the end of the day, Vitality were able to do it. It took just over an hour, but Vitality knock off H2K.
What are you doing?
V for victory here on Vitality's side, and you've got to be relieved after that game. It was a slugfest. They come back for the tour of duty there. That was ridiculous, man. On the Rift.
Just from watching and talking about it.
I think that's probably true of everybody here. Longest game we've had this split, and man, what a way to welcome Ryu back to the European LCS for one.
Teams understanding the limits of their comps. We get to see how big of an impact. I know, again, it's boring to listen to these wards always. We talk about setting them up for flanking, but whenever H2K didn't have those in position to surprise engage, it often became where Vitality could spread out, and it would be just engaged onto one member, and that's where the Zilean ulti is so key. The reason it can become weaker in the late game is when you have these big AoE team fights where Zilean can only pick one target, but because they could see the engage happen, and you have like QSSs and BT shields, like you can buy enough time to stay alive and then spread out. And Forgiven, whenever he has to chase for the kills, he's not able to do the same DPS we expect now from this pick in the late game, because it's not Vitality diving him, it's H2K diving onto Vitality.
Well, I got 3 words for